Hello everybody, Sifd here again, and today I decided to do something different real quick. So I was watching Asmongold react to Xieroeh, react to Asmongold talking about the bot problem in Lost Ark, and Xieroeh touched upon some math, but although the math was correct, I don't think it was really that useful to finding the exact number of bots. And Asmongold also mentioned that there are most likely 100k to 200k bots in the game, and that the number is insane and they don't believe them, but I think he also missed the mark. I think there are even more bots than that. So he said also that numbers don't lie, and he loves that. So I'm now gonna use the numbers that don't lie to showcase how many bots are in the game most likely, okay? So let's first of all point out the main thesis of this whole argument. The main point, which is that in a game that does not have a bot problem, the graph should look like this, okay? Spikes, as you see, spikes. Okay, and the main argument is that the player base should be double on the high times than what it is on the low times. Or you can also say the opposite, like on the low times, the player base is half of whatever the high time is. So 600,000 high times, low time should be about 300, which is true here. Final Fantasy, high times, about 40k, something like that. Low times, about 20k, which is also fair. Once again, Apex Legends, 300 high time, low time, about 100k. And also PUBG has the same, similar graph, 400 something high time and about 100k low time. That is, in my opinion, most likely because these games are battle royales and people have a higher incentive to play on high times because they don't want big queues, like, right? Because if you play like down here and then you see that the queue is 5 minutes, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna play, and just literally leave. So that makes it even more of a steep, decline on the off time. So it still makes sense, right? It still makes sense. It is more than double. So low time 100k, more than double is 3k. Same with PUBG, 100k low time, let's say, more than double on the high time. Everything makes sense. New World, the same thing. Everything is correct here, like 22k high time, 11 low time. But let's go to games with bots. Let's go with games with bots. Black Desert, 20k high time, about, 19k high time, low time, 14k. Well, that is not half. And the opposite is also not true, like 13k times 2 is not 20,000, it's more than 20,000. So something is going wrong here. Team Fortress, a game that we know is infested with bots. High time 85k, low time 75k. Whoopsie. Well, that is pretty bad. You see, it's not the half or the double, depending on how you see it. So yeah, that's also true. And let's go to Lost Ark, which is the main argument here. 550 high time, low time. Well, 450. Well. As you see, this is definitely not half. Or, for example, the double of 450 is 900,000. So, yeah, we definitely have a bot problem. Now, how will we analyze the numbers, like use the numbers to get the exact amount of bots? So let's go back to a game that doesn't have bots and talk about the definition of the argument, right? We said that the number of active players is double of the inactive players. Well, that means that by definition, if you subtract the number of inactive players from the number of the highest possible player count, right? So if I subtract 300 from 650,000, then the number coming out should be, by definition, bigger than the lowest possible amount, right? Because if this amount is half or less than this amount, or if this amount is double or more than this amount, then that subtraction should always be bigger than the lowest possible number, right? So if this, once again, 650 minus 300 is 350, which is correct. That shows that this game has even less than half the players on its inactive time, right? It's also true for Apex Legends. 300,000 minus 100,000 is 200,000, which is, once again, correct. It just means that a bunch of players log out on the off time. It is correct. The math checks out. It's by definition, once again, if something is less than half of something else and you subtract that, then the number should be bigger by definition, because you're pretty much subtracting the other half, right? You're keeping the other half of the subtraction in the numbers. Now, obviously, in Lost Ark, if you subtract 550 from 450, you will see that the number is not 450. It's gonna be 100k, so the number is a lot less, and that is why the bots, that number is the indication of the difference of people leaving. But that doesn't matter. We're gonna use that number now to actually calculate the bots, right? Because by understanding that the number is not correct, the difference is always correct, right? The difference is always correct. If you subtract from 150, like, this difference is always 100,000. But what is not correct is the number of the players in online the game, right? The 100,000 number is correct. The subtraction is correct. What is not correct is how many players that there are in, because there are bots that never log out, right? So let's now go to the math, which is, in a spreadsheet, because spreadsheets are, easy to read. So over here at the spreadsheet, we can see really quickly, you know, just the maths, don't really need to explain that much. Final Fantasy, 40,000 high time, low time 20,000 time, that difference is 20k, so there are no bots in the game because this is by default exactly the definition that we are using, right? Dota 2, 650 high time, 300 low time, if we distract, you know, do the difference, 350k bots. I mean, that is just the difference, this number is just the difference between these two. That means that there are no bots. If anything, it just showcases that more players play on the active time of the game. Apex Legends, once again, this is the difference. 200 is the actual difference. Now, if this difference was 100k, so that means if these people here were 200, then we once again would not have bots, but that means just a bunch of players play Apex Legends on its high time. Same with PUBG, makes sense, especially Battle Royale games, you don't want to be playing when nobody else plays. Now, bot games, Team Fortress, the difference is 10k. Actually, just forget these games. Let's just go to Lost Ark right away. 550k high time, 450k low time. What's the difference? 100k. Okay? That means for these numbers to make sense, right? The bots have to be 350, and these should be the numbers of the humans. This is what the normal graph should look like. Okay? If we have a difference of 100k between the players, this is what the normal graph should look like. And that means that there are 350k bots. Okay, this here shows that there are about 350k bots. Now, there might be 300, okay, there might be 250, they might be less. But, I mean, as Asmongold said, the numbers don't lie. And the numbers say that there are 350k bots, which is really bad. But it might also be true because a bunch of memes are popping up about how many bots are in the game and videos with bots, you know, running all over the place. So, if anything, you know, people are saying that there are more bots than humans. Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. And people seem to also agree that that is fact. So, yeah, I think the time has come to realize that there are more bots in Lost Ark than humans. It might sound unbelievable, but once again, numbers don't lie. Anyway, I hope Asmongold watches this because, like, that was the main point. I wanted to, you know, make him be crazy about it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was helpful for anybody that does care. And yeah, once again, thanks for watching and see you guys around.